You want to answer all the questions by yourself?
No, because I won't be able to answer some on my own.
So these aren't going to be any particular order because we didn't like
write them down
search
in order.
them down and see which one was asked the most. But if I come to one that needs to wait till the end and make this video more dramatic, we'll wait for it. But anyway, what do we got? Like 10 to 15 questions?
Yeah. So one of the biggest questions we get all the time is why the tractors aren't up here. The tractor. That's just in the summer we get it. We get it year round. We get that question.
Yep.
And why is that?
So the road coming up to the cabin, the hill is extremely steep. None of the filming or videography does it any justice. We can hardly drive up here. So my 50-year-old tractor is one two-wheel drive, and it wouldn't make it up here safely. It might make it up here, but I'm not willing to risk my life to try. And
so that's another reason. That's why we don't drive to the cabin in the winter also.
It's not worth risking it
Yeah,
to drive up here back and forth. It's just not worth it.
Yeah,
so.
When you're off grid, there's inconveniences you just put up with that maybe everyone that lives a normal on-grid life wouldn't put up with, but for us, this is not a big deal at all.
Maybe we'll eventually get like a dozer in here and we could make a more gradual climb up to the cabin. Maybe that's something we could do in the long run. We just roll with it. So everything takes time, guys. So
why don't we have a well?
Everyone just says, hey, just drill a well.
Well, wells are expensive, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's like $10,000 to $20,000.
We don't have the money to do that stuff, so.
We don't want to spend $20,000 on a well when we have free water from the rain.
Yep. And we could go to the, I mean, that's part of being self-reliant or self-sufficient is just kind of making things work. And if you have a well, that's no problem. The people in the surrounding area from us have 200 to 300 foot deep wells, and those are, like Jen said, $10,000 to $15,000, and that's not something we can invest in right now. Yeah. So we're making this work as best we can.
It'd be nice to have like a shallow one, but if we can't have it, that's okay. The rainwater works great too.
Yeah, we got 5 tanks set up now up here at the cabin, so that should take better care of us than in the years prior.
Yes.
So what's next on the list?
What everyone always asks what dogs have on their collars. One of them is a training collar to kind of keep them. We beep them if they go too far out of our sight. Scout's a troublemaker.
And Jen can't whistle, so the little beep on there tells them to come back to us, so that's good.
And the other one's a tracking collar, because if you've been around for a while too, you know, Scout's a little bit of a troublemaker.
We've only had Scout for what, year and a half?
2 years almost now.
Well, he has a beagle in him and cattle dog, and he has a nose on him.
Well,
so
he smells. He's out there smelling the air all the time.
he took off of chasing a couple turkeys one time, and probably turkeys or deer another time, and he's been really good the last year. But those GPS collars gave us a lot of peace of mind to be able to track him down when he did run away.
Yep. Solar. This one's a Jason question, because I can't answer it well. Why lead-acid batteries?
Yep. We get a ton of solar questions, and a lot of our solar videos do better, and people ask, why would you go with lead-acid batteries? Well, I was new to solar when we built this system, so I wasn't comfortable with putting a solar system in the cabin and taking up space, which we don't have a lot of in the cabin. So I thought the best way to do it and keep it versatile was build a solar shed, and lead-acid batteries or sealed lead-acid batteries can work in cold temperatures and be charged in cold temperatures. Lithium iron phosphate batteries obviously have a ton of advantages, but not in cold climates below freezing, where it is below freezing here in northern Michigan for about half of the year.
At night especially.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just makes sense for us.
Yeah. And we will, I think now that I have learned more and I'm more comfortable with solar and how things work, we will be improving the system and going with Life PO4 lithium iron phosphate batteries when this solar shed expires, or the batteries, you know, go beyond their lifespan. So another question we get very often deals with security and how we keep things safe here around the property and at the cabin. So what do we do for that?
We use our Yui Security cameras, and we have a cool new camera to show you guys.
So Eufy sent us the all-new 4K Ultra HD LTE S330 model. Eufy has 4K color quality at night and day. It also has black and white, so you can see better contrast in each image. So the new Eufy 4K camera uses Solar Plus technology. Even with partial obstruction, it maintains 60% of its charge capacity. With the Eufy 4K camera, it has dual connectivity modes. You could use 4G or Wi-Fi. You can use your cellular service by using an EOT SIM card. It automatically picks the best signal and network for the user. So guys, the Eufy 4K camera has 8x zoom. You can see great detail at 30 feet or more.
So if somebody's at your house and you don't know who they are, you can zoom in on their license plate or their face.
It also has 360-degree tracking. It can pan and track, no blind spots, no dead zones.
It's really neat, guys, so watch what it can do here.
So here you can see me walking back and forth between the cabin and the barn. It tracks me flawlessly, day or night. So guys, if all those other features didn't convince you, the Eufy's powerful 9400 milliamp hour battery can be charged and keep you in continuous power with the new solar panel with 2 hours of sunlight each day. Another added bonus, Eufy includes a 32 gigabyte micro SD card that can store up to 8 months of 4K footage from your Yui Security Camera. So you can use your phone and your Eufy app to set up 2 activity zones to fine-tune your security for precision and peace of mind. You can monitor just the important areas and reduce false alarms and excessive false notifications. So also with Eufy, you get local security with no monthly fee. It was also extremely easy to install and extremely easy to use. Jen set it up in just a few minutes while I installed it out here in front of the cabin. Thanks for letting me tell you about the Eufy Security Camera. We have been using them for 2 to 3 years, and they really do take good care of us. We really do enjoy them, and they've treated us really well. So make sure you guys check out the links in the description box below in the first pinned comment to get a great deal on a Eufy Security Camera. We're really excited about the new S330 and how we can now pan all around the top of the hill here at the cabin and check everything out with one camera. Thank you again, guys. Thank you, Eufy, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it.
Why no cement around the foundation posts?
We were using just repurposed, reused posts, ground-treated posts, and we have nothing but sand here on the top of this hill. So that sand holds these posts super well, and we don't have a lot of rocks to freeze and heave, and not a lot of moisture up here either to cause any heaving issues. I'm not a structural engineer, and my foundation probably isn't perfect, but ours hasn't shifted or moved at all or heaved at all. A lot of that is because of our situation.
Yeah,
all sand
soil,
and dry.
It rains and there's hardly any puddles up here.
If you were in the forest in a hole where there's a lot of clay or rocks or moisture, yeah, you need to build a more heavier duty foundation. In retrospect or hindsight, I should have probably built a stronger foundation as well. A lot of people would put cement around fence posts or under fence posts or foundation posts for a building. Cement, from the research I did, when you surround the post with cement, all it really does is hold moisture between the cement and the wooden post, so, and causes it to rot more. So because we have such sandy, dry soil up here and it wicks away the moisture, I felt our posts were better off without that cement around them. So that's why we didn't use cement around our posts for the foundation.
All right, next question is, won't the siding rot and will we stain it? So we have live edge siding that we milled with our sawmill.
All from poplar trees on the property. Poplar wood is actually a softer hardwood. It's a hardwood, and people have been siding barns with poplar for a long time from the research I've done. And long as you're in a drier environment, not in,
Like not
the
in like
rainforest
Washington or somewhere it rains a lot.
Yeah, like we get quite a bit of rain here in northern Michigan, but again, we're on top of this hill, and we get a lot of sunshine and a lot of wind, and everything dries out up here super quick. Like it rains, and 2 hours later, it feels dry up here.
Yeah.
So we felt that the poplar siding that we milled ourselves would hold up just fine, right? Yeah. And we put the first batch of siding on the front of the cabin, the north side of the cabin.
In like the fall of 2020, because it was right after we finished the cabin.
It's been 3.5 years, and that wood is still hard as a rock. It actually like bakes in the sun and gets harder.
Yeah.
And the second part of that question, stain, we are going to stain the cabin this summer. We took close to 3 years to get all the siding done and all the soffits. So we had green siding still on the cabin.
Yeah.
So now that everything's going to be dried and aged and ready for stain and protectant of some sort, we are going to do that.
That'll be a summer project for us. We're going to be busy again this summer, guys. We always think we're going to have an easy summer, and then 10 more things pop up. Are we here full time?
Let's save that one for the end.
How do we get water and do showers? In the spring, in the summer, in the fall, we have a rainwater collection system that we use, and we transfer water to tanks, various tanks when we need it, and it filters it through a bunch of filters under the cabin. Jason's got a bunch of videos on how that all works. I'm not going to bore you with the specs.
Yeah. The first couple years, we went to the river, filled up a tank, brought it here, and used it that way, transferred it to a stationary tank. But now this year, we finally got 5 IBC totes all hooked up, ready to go, and they're collecting.
That's how we collect water, and that's how we use all the water for the cabin, and it runs through several filters, so if you're worried about bacteria or anything, it's very clean. So don't worry about that.
And we have a Berkey for our drinking water.
Our drinking and cooking water goes through that.
Yeah, the rest of the water can go through like a simple sediment and a simple 1 micron filter, and takes out most of the stuff. So if you are more interested in that, exactly how we do that, you can watch some of our videos about rain catchment.
And then, will we get a wind turbine? Everyone knows it's so windy here all the time.
Thousands and thousands of comments in regard to a wind turbine. Yeah, we'll get a wind turbine.
We'd like to get one. We haven't been able to find one.
We like to hear from the mouth of the horse, right? If you guys know somebody who has one and can prove to me that they're worth having, and it's not a $3,000 wind turbine, I'm happy to check it out.
Yeah, because some of the, like he said, some of them are really expensive, $3,000. And if it works great, that's awesome, but a lot of them only produce a few watts, so it just wouldn't be worth our investment. So,
all right, so the next question we have asked all the time is, what do we do for work? What do you do for work?
I teach online, so it's lucky because I can do that literally anywhere. I can work here at the cabin. If we go camping, I could work. I could work if we travel. I can literally work anywhere I can access the internet.
Which is good because her husband's a bum and he doesn't work, so... No,
Jason does hot tub repair services, which is a good thing to have because our hot tub is broken.
All plumbers have leaky pipes, painters have rooms that needed to be painted, and hot tub guys have broken hot tubs. I worked for a friend of my dad's when I got out of high school fixing hot tubs, and I worked with him for a few years, and he wanted to retire, so I took over the business, and that's what I've done my whole adult life. So it's a very small business, just basically not even a business, basically just work for myself, self-employed, and it's taken good care of us, and we've been smart with our money over the last 15, 20 years, so we don't make huge incomes, right?
Yeah, we don't make a lot of money, but we don't owe anybody any money, so we're not like...
We don't go into debt. We're not paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, so we're just fortunate with the choices that we've made.
So we made good decisions. So, and now, over the last 3 years, I basically just do hot tubs a little bit here and there. I do not much really at all. we do YouTube. YouTube is our full-time job now. And I'm very grateful for it, and we're very fortunate that YouTube has treated us well. It's opened up a lot of opportunities, especially for us to be here at the cabin. And yeah, we appreciate all you guys watching our videos for all these years and providing this opportunity for us.
Yep.
And
all the interaction always helps, and everything you guys do, we appreciate it a ton.
Yep.
How big is our cabin?
Our cabin is 16 by 24. That's the main footprint. And then we added the 11 by 12 bedroom addition last year.
And we have a tiny little 5x4 bathroom.
Yeah. So it's basically 500 square feet with the cabin, the bedroom, and the bathroom, right? We have additional storage space in the loft, but I don't think that really counts towards square footage, right?
No.
Lofts aren't. They're like finished basements. They don't really count.
So, do we use green lumber?
We used all green lumber. All green lumber for the siding. I'd mill it and literally bring it up here and smack it on the next day.
The same thing with our deck build. Was all green. But overall, green lumber hasn't been too much of a problem.
Yeah, we've used some posts that we were freshly milled from like maple or oak. Those have been fine. They're all lag bolted in. The way we got away with using green lumber, we didn't use it on the framing of the building, but we use it on, like I said, the siding and the deck and posts and beams underneath the cabin. The way to get away with using that stuff and it not all splitting and cracking, which you still get a bit of that and warping, but it's just single nail everything until it dries out. That's what we did with our siding. We just single nailed the top of everything. Once it dries and shrinks down, then you can go back and double tap everything.
If you want to see anything on us doing the siding video, Jason's got a whole video about that, how we did the siding and why we did it, and using the green lumber and the sawmill, and there's a video about that too that we can link here. So you can check it out and see it for yourself. How much did our land cost?
Our land cost about $1,500 an acre, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than that. I think it came out to $1,400 an acre.
And we've got just under 15 acres.
Yep. We bought before things got a little more crazy, but there's still opportunities out there to get a good deal on land, but you have to shop and you have to look for stuff, and you have to when you see an opportunity, you have to get on it. And the reason our land was so cheap was because we're off the beaten path.
Yep, it's not a maintained road. I mean, it's a mile off a maintained road. There's no utilities back here.
Yep.
That's why we're off grid. So you gotta be willing to look maybe outside your comfort zone. Everybody wants the comforts, but you gotta look outside your comfort zone and push yourself.
And honestly, paying extra money for land that is close to utilities and close to maintained roads and stuff has its advantages. It's cost us a lot of money in equipment, right, to get in and out of here and maintain the road and do stuff. The solar costs a lot of money, so I mean,
there's pluses and minuses.
Yeah, you just have to weigh out the pros and cons of it. Being closer to the main road, obviously, more traffic. You got to worry about people messing with your stuff because they see your stuff or see if you're there stuff. We're back in the woods good enough to where we don't have to necessarily worry so much about that.
And our price of the land, therefore, was affected by that too. So, chimney pipe, why did you do it out of the wall, and where to buy in the cost?
There's a lot of reasons to do things in different ways with your chimney pipe and your wood stove. They all work, but there's pros and cons to everything. If you need wood stove pipe, we just got all our stuff at the local tractor supply company, TSC. And and I don't think you should cheap out on wood stove pipe. That's my insights. So check out the videos about that. We have a whole wood stove playlist as well. You can see the whole process if you'd like to check that out.
Guys, we get a question all the time. Literally, it's probably in especially in the summertime. Why are there no curtains on your windows? Well, there's nobody around. We are surrounded by forest. By a forest. If somebody wants to sit in a tree with binoculars and look into our windows for the chance they see us, like, good for them. That's my attitude, because it's so beautiful with all the natural lighting in here.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to block that out.
Our drive is extremely long, so people would have to drive up our road and up to our cabin in order to see into our windows.
And we've had 0 complaints so far. The birds, raccoons, and squirrels have not said a thing about watching us walk around in our birthday suits for 2 seconds a day when we take a shower.
Well, we get changed or something. Like, it's all right, guys.
Bigfoot hasn't turned us in yet either, so we're okay.
It's all right. I promise you. It's okay.
If we ever have a neighbor that we have to worry about, we'll put some blinds and curtains up.
Why do we have so much stuff around?
I've gotten a lot of that in my more recent videos that go outside of our normal people. They ask about extra cars and equipment and stuff sitting around and tractors. It's like, well, you need that stuff to live off grid. You need tractors. You need an extra woods truck. We're up here with one vehicle. What if that one vehicle breaks down? Well, I like to have a spare vehicle. And it's not a fancy vehicle. It's a 15-year-old vehicle, but if something happens, I want to be able to get to town. I don't want us to be stranded out here. And I have a couple of toy Jeeps. So that's okay, right? Are we allowed to have our toys?
We'll probably get rid of one of the toys.
We'll get rid of a Jeep or 2.
And clean up some stuff. And we'll build some more storage for stuff too, so you don't see it as well. That's a summer plan, says storage so you don't see it.
Just fell on the back burner because it's not that important.
Yeah, we'll get it done though. It's like the things that we've been wanting to do. Those are extra projects. How far is it to town? It's about a 25-minute drive. And that's what was a big thing for me when we were looking at property. I want to be about a half-hour drive to town to get groceries.
And other stuff. And I'm glad we did that too. Because
to get groceries or materials, because right now if we need to go to town because we need something for a building project, it's an hour drive round trip and then maybe an hour in town. That's 2 hours, but it's way better than being 2 hours 2 hours away from town and it being a 5-hour trip. So
we're not organized enough to not need to run to town.
I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, it's
hard.
I
don't think anybody is, because you never know what you're gonna need. And
if you're just going somewhere for a weekend getaway or something simple like that, or everything's already set up and established, like your cabin and property, you could live an hour and a half, 2 hours from town, because you're not running in and out to get stuff all the time. But if you're developing a property like we have the last 5 years, we run to town like a lot.
Oh, like at least once a week or twice a week for projects, and that's just for projects. And then you got to go grocery shopping and everything. So, half hour is perfect. Yeah. It's close enough to be drivable, but far enough away to be away from the city. And let's see, have we noticed a difference since we skirted the cabin?
I most certainly have.
It's warmer in the cabin,
and
we don't have to keep the fire going as much. Because we don't lose as much heat, so that's a good thing. And because we skirted the cabin, it allowed us to keep plumbing open for an extra month, which was nice.
Yeah, we had water going through our plumbing, like we reopened it back up after Thanksgiving, and we had water in here till mid-January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or early January.
Early January, so that was nice. And yes, that was
very useful, very helpful.
Yep, we'll finish skirting the spring when we gotta do a few things under the cabin, and then we'll finish skirting it.
Yeah, right now we just have the insulation around, which is fine. It keeps the wind out and keeps it a little warmer under there.
Yep, and then the last question is, are we here full time? And we're here about 80% of the time. Our cabin's basically like our full-time home, and then this house downstate is where we go to visit to see friends and family and for Jason to do jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people might have a place up north to get away to.
Well, this isn't a weekend getaway or a, little cabin we visit for 2 days a week or 4 days a month like most people who have cabins.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we spend a majority of our time. And we love it. And we honestly enjoy having our little house downstate. It's paid for. It's 800 square feet. It was my starter home, right?
Yep, and it's we've kept it, and it works out perfect. And
yeah, there's really no reason to get rid of it yet. We can talk about that in the future.
But there's no reason right now.
Yeah. I feel like people always worry about that. They like think, oh, you got a lot of money because you're not moving off grid all the time, like full time. It's not the full time adventure or whatever, but We're here.
I mean, all the time, guys. We're here 80% of the time. Like, we'll go downstate for like a long weekend to see friends and family, birthdays, barbecues, graduations, weddings. Everything's held downstate because that's where our family and friends are. So that's why we'll go downstate to see people. Because just because we're off grid doesn't mean we're hermits that don't have friends and family.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here at the cabin.
And if you have any more questions, you can drop them in the comments, and we do our best to answer all the comments when we get them.
And if you put enough of them down there, we'll make another one of these. Maybe we missed your question.
But sometimes some of these questions can be answered in some of the other videos, so we'll link you some of the videos to check out.
Yeah.
And thanks for tuning in for this video. We appreciate it.
All right. Best wishes, everybody.
Have a great day.
All right.